It's kind of weird, for a grown woman to be living with her parents. Stand on your own 2 feet, girl. Be independent. That's Ava preaching away. Little did she know those words would come back to haunt her. My name's Zoe. Living the single life with my work as my partner at 35. I had relationships in my 20s, but before I knew it, I was single, cruising into my mid-30s. But hey, I haven't given up on marriage just yet. Currently, I live with my dad and mom. My job's going well, and both my parents are healthy and kicking. Life feels pretty good, with no real complaints or worries, except there's this one person who just won't stop nagging at me. So, Zoe, planning on staying single forever? Well, I'd get married if the right person comes along, but right now I'm enjoying my work. She snickers in a mocking tone. Enjoying your work, huh? That's just an excuse to cover up your pathetic inability to get married. People like you drown in work to escape reality. Who is she calling pathetic? The person looking down on me for being single is none other than my brother Henry's wife, Ava. She holds this prejudice that being married somehow elevates her above singles. Henry, who's 3 years older than me, got married just about a year ago. I remember the first time Ava visited our home. Wait, Zoe, you're 34 and don't have a boyfriend? That's kinda sad, isn't it? Have you ever even dated? If you want, I could introduce you to some of my friends. They're a bit quirky, but hey, at your age, shouldn't you be compromising a bit? Or you'll never get married. Never in a million years did I think I'd be slapped with such rudeness upon our first meeting. I was caught off guard and mumbled, well, Ava's my age. Is she trying to flaunt that she managed to get married and I didn't? She's always tried to act superior to me from the get-go. Moreover, Ava's incredibly thoughtless. She Googled the average salary at my company and blurted out, "Hey, those international companies pay well, right? How much do you earn? What's your bonus? You've saved quite a bit, haven't you?" No matter if she's family by marriage, that's just not something you ask. That's not really something I'd like to... I skillfully dodged the topic and changed the subject. I thought if I gave off vibes that I didn't want to discuss it, she wouldn't push. But Ava turned out to be even more oblivious to social cues than I thought, to the point where I wondered if she was from another planet. Why are you avoiding it? Just tell me your salary. Well, usually people don't share that kind of information. Really? I want to know. Tell me. As I sighed and asked, "Why are you so interested in it?" she casually replied, "Why can't I know about my sister-in-law's financial situation?" Why would she need to know that in the first place? I felt we fundamentally viewed things differently. From that point, I tried to avoid her. But Ava's insensitivity knew no bounds. One holiday, Ava, who visited our family home, said, "Hey Zoe, I found this in your room the other day," showing me my bonus statement. She probably rummaged through my room on a weekday when I wasn't there. Dad and Mom's living area is on the first floor, while my room is on the second. Maybe they didn't notice her going upstairs. It was like she was a thief. "Hey, what are you doing?" "You seem to earn quite a lot, Zoe. Why didn't you tell us? More importantly, how could you just enter my room like that? Isn't that extremely rude?" "It's because you hide your annual income. If you earn so much, you could have given more for the wedding gift. What you gave was just pennies." Isn't $1,000 enough? What's with this woman? Not just inconsiderate, she seemed overly obsessed with money. Angry, I firmly told her, You are, after all, just my sister-in-law. There are things I don't want to say and things I want to keep to myself. Please don't intrude in my private matters." She probably didn't appreciate being told off by someone who, albeit in-law, was younger than her. Fuming and face red, she shouted, "What? How dare you? Acting all high and mighty even though you're single." With that, she stormed off. I wonder what being single has to do with anything. I wish she'd leave me alone. I was the one who wanted to be mad. I hoped that after speaking up, she'd be more considerate. That's what I thought. But after that, Ava's attacks on me intensified. "Being single is such a burden on society. At least when you're married, there's a chance of having kids, supporting the country's future. Singles are just selfish and self-centered." In front of Dad, Mom, and even other relatives, she openly criticized singlehood, making it seem like a direct attack on me. Her narrative shifted from being married is better than being single to an outright assault on single people. At that, even my dad and mom were taken aback. "You shouldn't have such prejudices. Whether single or married, everyone's still a person." "Exactly. Zoe works hard and contributes to society," Mom scolded Ava. But she didn't seem convinced. "What's the big deal? I work part-time and I'm married, so I contribute more to society than Zoe." Dad and Mom couldn't help but laugh at that. Around that time, it was discovered that there was a major termite infestation in the walls of Dad and Mom's house. The house was over 40 years old, showing signs of wear and tear here and there. They had managed by patching up things over the years. But termites were a different issue and couldn't be ignored. The conversation turned to getting rid of them. They wondered, though, if treating it now would prevent future infestations, or if it even made sense to spend money on a house so old. That's when I chimed in. Why not sell this place and buy a single-family home? Fortunately, living at home and not splurging too much, I had saved a decent amount.
"But can we afford a single-family home?"
Dad was concerned. "Don't worry, I'm 35 now. I can manage buying a house," I reassured them, deciding to purchase it under my name. I only told Henry about moving to a new home because of the aging of the current one. In response, he said,
"Then hand over Dad and Mom's house to me."
However, when I mentioned the hefty renovation costs, he quickly backtracked with a,
"Never mind then."
Once we purchased the new home and completed the move, as Dad, Mom, and I were about to start our exhilarating new life, Henry and Ava paid us a visit at an unexpected time when our boxes were still unpacked. "Wow, this place is spacious. 2 floors, even a proper room for kids.
"It even has a yard. Nice."
I thought they came to congratulate us on our move, but I was mistaken. "We came to announce that I'm pregnant." To the unexpected joyful news, Dad, Mom, and I congratulated them.
"Congratulations. Take good care of yourself."
"Childbirth can be tough, especially the first time. Let us know if you need anything." Both Dad and Mom looked overjoyed at the prospect of their first grandchild. "Thank you. In that case, we'll move in from today." "Excuse me?" Dad, Mom, and I were completely caught off guard by this sudden declaration.
"Wait, that's a bit sudden. We don't have room for another family."
"Yes, this house can't accommodate 6 people." Dad and Mom somehow conveyed their reluctance. "You're overthinking this. Why not just ask this single lady there to leave?" Ava said, looking smugly at me. "Wait, me?" "Yes, you. Aren't you embarrassed? Always relying on father-in-law at your age? Even letting him buy you a house? You're just trying to take advantage of everything good here. We have the important job of bringing the next generation into this family. You're in the way. Please leave this house." Ava looked at me with her arms crossed and a malicious glint in her eye. Besides, it's weird for a grown woman to be living with her father and mother. Stand on your own 2 feet. Ava continued her snide sermon. Henry chimed in.
You can't always lean on Dad and Mom. Listen, for your own good, you need to move out and be independent.
How dare they? Well, you see, this house is... I was about to say that the house was under my name, when Dad spoke up on my behalf.
Alright, so you two want to move in here?
Ava grinned at his words. Yes, and in the future, we'll take good care of father-in-law and mother-in-law.
But you'll need to pay rent. How about $800? Rent? Dad, you're going to take money from your kids? If you're talking about being independent, then paying rent makes sense. Around here, $800 is the going rate. $800? That's still a good deal. Renting an entire house around here will cost more than $1,000. This area is close to the station, and the land value is high.
Henry and Ava were taken aback by the amount, but they couldn't back down after making a big deal about being independent. Isn't that a bit much? What's the point of living together if we're paying that? Ava whispered this to Henry, but it was audible enough.
Well, we'll figure it out. We'll take the 2nd floor.
Then it's settled. Zoe, please leave soon. You're in the way. The couple went upstairs, brimming with enthusiasm. Wow, these rooms are so spacious. And look at all this storage. It's a good thing we got her to leave.
Yeah, with her gone, this house will eventually be ours. Everything's going our way.
As they happily discussed this at the top of their voices, Dad, Mom, and I exchanged knowing looks. How could they be so excited without knowing the full story? Dad had kept the fact that the house was in my name a secret for a strategic reason. After being ousted by Henry and his wife, I relaxed in a short-term rental apartment. Then one day, I got a call from Ava. Hey, I noticed father-in-law and mother-in-law are gone, and their stuff is too. Did you possibly pick them up to help me out? No, Dad and Mom decided to move in with me on their own. I couldn't help but smirk as I said this. Right there, Dad and Mom were sipping coffee casually. Oh, really? Well, that's fine. Being pregnant and living with them was pretty exhausting anyway. This works out. How could she easily forget the kindness of letting her stay and then say such a thing? She better brace herself. Her comfort is about to end. So that means next month's rent is $1,600. Okay? Excuse me? I mean, you need to pay the full rent for that house. What? What are you talking about? Well, up until now, Dad, Mom, and you and Henry split the rent in half, right? Now that Dad and Mom have left, isn't it only fair that you two cover the entire amount? Ava seems clueless. Why are you acting all high and mighty? That house belongs to father-in-law, doesn't it? What are you talking about? I own that house. What? A brief silence enveloped Ava and me. I decided to explain the situation clearly. It seems you're not aware, so let me explain. The house is in my name, and I paid for it with my own money. Until yesterday, because Dad and Mom lived with you, I charged each party $800, a total of $1,600 for rent. Now, since Dad and Mom left, only you and Henry are living there. Therefore, I'll need the full $1,600 for rent next month. The reason Dad stopped me from revealing I was the homeowner was precisely for moments like this. It was a secret plan to teach the overbearing Henry and Ava a lesson. I didn't know any of this. Bring back father-in-law and mother-in-law. This isn't right. Thrown off by the amount of $1,600, Ava's tone grew frantic. Hold on, didn't you tell me to stand on my own, Ava? Living with parents is what dependent people do, right? I continued, dripping with sarcasm. If you can't even pay half on your own, it means you aren't independent. That's why Dad and Mom made the decision to move out. No, that's not what I meant. I'm really grateful to Dad and Mom. They've taught us the importance of independence firsthand. So, I'll be expecting that $1,600 next month. Got it? What? Wait a minute. I hung up without waiting for a response. A few hours later, Henry called me.
Hey, what's with changing the house title and the rent? Why are you making all these decisions without consulting?
Making decisions? That's rich, coming from you. Who moved into a house that wasn't theirs and then acted like I was the intruder? Wasn't it you who kept going on about being independent? Henry seemed at a loss for words. If you can't pay, can you move out? I don't want someone who can't even afford rent living here.
Wait, just wait. We're having a baby, okay? I'll pay the $800, just let us stay.
Do you really have a child on the way? Ava doesn't look pregnant.
What?
Mom said that even though Ava should be around 6 months pregnant, she doesn't look it at all. Were you lying? Henry's silence was all the answer I needed. If you don't leave, I'll consider taking legal action. Clearly scared by that, Henry quickly said,
Okay, we'll move out.
And hung up. When Dad and Mom confronted Ava, she immediately admitted that she faked her pregnancy. I thought if I said we were having a grandchild, you'd be kinder to me. Father-in-law and mother-in-law always dote on Zoe and are harsh to me. But Dad and Mom were never cold to Ava. They always kept a respectful distance as in-laws and only admonished Ava when she belittled me. And yet she faked a pregnancy? Maybe she really is from another planet. After that, Henry and Ava moved out and rented a new apartment. It was peak moving season, so it seemed they ended up spending more than they had anticipated. Renting a new place isn't cheap, with all the deposits and upfront costs. The carefree couple, Henry and Ava, appeared to have no intention of saving money. They visited Dad and Mom several times seeking financial help, but were always turned down.
There are lies one shouldn't tell as a human being. I don't want to associate with someone who doesn't understand that,
said Dad very rightly. From that point on, Dad and Mom kept their distance from Henry and Ava. Without any help from my parents, and unable to get a loan from the bank, Henry and Ava's life seemed to be spiraling into poverty. Well, they always talked about standing on their own, so now's their chance, right? I'm curious about how they'll manage.
By the way, Zoe,
Dad said with a tone of concern.
I've been thinking about your future. I know you're independent, but would you consider going on a matchmaking date just once for me?
I've got someone good in mind. The son of a friend of ours. Why not meet him? Mom added, surprisingly suggesting an arranged date. Can I really do this?
Don't doubt yourself. You're my pride and joy.
Dad reassured me. Thank you, Dad. And you too, Mom. We both appreciate everything. Dad gently patted my head. Maybe happiness comes in unexpected ways. All right, I'll give this matchmaking thing a try. I had a good feeling about this. It seemed like a new adventure was about to begin.